Welcome back to our North Carolina high school football season educational video series for officials to help us improve on our rules knowledge, skills, and mechanics. This is week 6, which means we are halfway through the football season in North Carolina. As always, let's keep in mind that we can only see the plays in this video from the perspective of the angle of the camera, and we may not know all the facts or information that are on the field. So let's get into our plays for this week. First play we're going to look at this week has to deal with a lot of judgment and decision making. Quarterback's going to roll out to the line judge side, and we're going to see a hit here by a defensive player. We're going to see the helmet come off and the ball come out. Or did the ball come out and the helmet come off? It makes a difference in what happened first, because if the helmet comes off first, then we would have a dead ball situation. If the ball came out first, then it's a live ball. So let's take a look at that rule. Rule 4.2 states, Article 2, the ball becomes dead and the down has ended when the helmet comes completely off the runner. As we take a second look at this play, we can see how challenging it is to decide right here whether this helmet comes off or the ball comes out. What happens first? It's your judgment. This is a very tight call. As you can see on this play, they ruled that the ball came out first. It's hard to argue that on this play. It's very difficult. I don't see a play where you can be definitive. And like I said, if the ball comes out first, then the helmet comes off, we have a live ball. If the helmet comes off first, then it's still a runner. Then we have a dead ball. The other thing here is keep in mind is if this player without a helmet gets up and participates, attempts to make a tackle, attempts to participate in the play, we would have a penalty flag for illegal participation for 15-yard penalty on that player. So keep that in mind also on these plays. The next play we're going to take a look at, we're going to look at it live first, and then we'll come back to this play and see if you picked up on all the things we're going to talk about in this play and piece them back together and talk about them one at a time after we conclude this play. We're going to take a look at the play, and then we're going to take a look at the enforcement and where the penalty was enforced from, and then where the spot is, and so forth, and see if you picked up on everything that occurred in this play. And you can see we give a first down at the 50-yard line. All right. We're going to second look at the play. And first of all, let's take a look at where the down markers were prior to the play where we had the penalty flags. We have the back stake at the 42, the front stakes at the 48, and defensive backfield. So the first down would be at the 48 on this play. Keep that in mind. This is at the 48 is the first down. That's where the chains are prior to this play. So as we keep that in mind, we're going to watch the play out. And we're going to have the line judge throw a flag here for which I'm going to say is a blocking back at the 42. Keep 42 in mind because we have to have the proper penalty enforcement spot. So if we throw a flag, it hits the ground, doesn't go to the right spot, we want to move that flag prior to reporting to the referee so the flag's in the right spot so we get the proper enforcement spot for any foul that we need a proper enforcement spot for. So keep that in mind. Move your flag, then report to the referee if your flag does not land in the proper spot, so that we get the proper enforcement spot. Now, we have the flag come out here by the line judge, and we're going to continue to look at the flag right here. Number 1 on the defense, who just got called for the foul for the block in the back, he decides to kick the flag. So in this situation, we would have a foul for unsportsmanlike, which would be, in this case, disrespectfully adjusting a game official and indicating objections to a game official's decision under Rule 9. So this would be a 15-yard penalty. Like penalized as a dead ball foul, so that would be added on to the block in the back. So we would actually have a 10-yard penalty block in the back and then a 15-yard unsportsmanlike foul on number 1 in the same play. So keep that in mind. That's what this should be on this play. Then next up, the line judge. You need to continue to officiate. Even though you threw a flag, you need to continue to officiate down your sideline to help your crew and help game management because this play is still going on. We're still going to have option. We're going to have a dead ball situation we need to help with and have eyes on. And as you see as this play develops, why? So we have a tackle kind of in the end zone, nothing there really, but look at the two players engaging each other. We got the back judge giving the signal, but we have the line judge up here around the 33-yard line. He's looking back over his shoulder at the referee. If he would have continued down the sideline, he could come down, help separate these two players, and we could avoid a potential problem. Now, nothing major happens here that I can see from this video, but it could have. And so we need to continue to officiate until the play is over, and that includes the dead ball period following the live ball period so that we prevent these types of things from happening and we can continue to officiate and then take care of the administrative part of the game. So as we come back to the play after the enforcement of the penalty, which remember the penalty was actually the 42, should have moved the flag to the 42, but we enforced it from the 40, off by 2 yards. Now, notice that our chains are set up, the back stakes on the 40 now, and the front stakes on the 50. And originally we were on the 48 on the defensive side of the ball. So our chains came back. So that's where the clip comes important. And I'm not sure what happened here, but the clip should have given them the proper spot. We had a touchdown play, should be able to bring those chains if they moved. Put the clip back on the yard line it was on, and then we would have got the chains in the proper situation. Also, it's not a bad idea for the head linesman and the line judge to remember where the front stake was on each play. Take a look at it, remember it, say it to yourself in your mind. And that way, if this does happen, we can get the chain back to the proper spot and get proper enforcement, get the proper down, and so forth. Keep that in mind so we get these plays right. The next play we have here is going to be a punt play, and you may have seen this occur in a punt play, and we're going to talk about this. So we have a punt, and the ball is going to hit the ground, and then we're going to see the receiving player here pick up the ball and run the ball back and returning the ball. So the question here is this legal? So let's look at Rule 2, Section 9, Article 4, which states an invalid fair catch signal is any signal by a receiver before the kick is caught or recovered. In A, that does not meet the requirement of a valid signal. In B, after the kick has touched the receiver. Or in C, after the kick has touched the ground. So in this play, we have the ball that has touched the ground and the receiver gives a signal. Let's take a look at the play again. As we take another look at this play, our focus will be on the receiver, the defensive player on the receiving team here who waves his arms. Notice how he's waving his arms and the ball hits the ground and he's waving his arms and then he picks up the ball and runs with it. So we should stop the play right here. We should have a whistle on this play. And the reason why we want to stop the play is because he gave an invalid fair catch signal in this play as we watch the play again. So that would cause us to blow our whistle to stop the play at the point of recovery. Now, we could debate whether we could just talk to the receiver and talk to the receiver's coach, or you could potentially have a flag here, and a flag could be supported for an invalid fair catch. This is also something that you want to talk about in your pregame before the game because, yes, this is definitely we want to stop the play right here when he makes the recovery because of his invalid fair catch signal per the rule. The next play we're going to take a look at is a free kickoff that the ball is kicked into the air, goes 10 yards, and is grounded, hits the ground, and then pops up and recovered right here by K, right somewhere between the 35 and 36-yard line. K recovers the ball. So they legally recovered ball, hit the ground, went 10 yards. And then you see the umpire come up and does a great job here using the stop the clock signal coming up to the spot of recovery because remember, K cannot advance this ball once they recover it. This is a good job here by the umpire on this play. So if you take a look at our next play, first thing, take a look quickly at the scoreboard. First quarter, 8:36 to go, 61-0. I'm hoping that was an error on the scoreboard because it's 61-0 in the first quarter, 8:36. It's very interesting. But anyways, let's get back to the formation in the play. So as we look at this formation, this is the play after a touchdown. So this is the kick try or point after. And so I have the numbers here indicated. We have 6, 5, and 14 lined up here on our right side. 12 and 29 are in the backfield there as indicated by the arrows. And then over there on the left side on the head linesman side, we have the numbers 11, 33, 73, 72, 66, and 54. So we only have 4 players numbered 50 through 79 lined up in this formation on this play. So let's take a look at some rules that are applicable to this play. So the first rule we're going to look at in regards to this play is Rule 7, Section 2, Article 5, player formation and numbering requirements include. And we're going to go down and look at the exceptions part, number 2, which states on fourth down or during a kick try, which is applicable to this play. When A sets or shifts into a scrimmage kick formation, any A player numbered 0 to 49 or 80 to 89 may take the position of any A player numbered 50 to 79. A player in the game under this exception must assume an initial position on his line of scrimmage between the ends, and he remains an ineligible forward pass receiver during that down unless the pass is touched by B. So just to reemphasize here as we go back to the beginning of this, on fourth down or during a kick try, when A sets or shifts into a scrimmage kick formation. So let's discuss the rules applicable to a scrimmage kick formation, which is Rule 2, Section 14. Formations. Article 2 states a scrimmage kick formation is one in which no player is in position to receive a hand-to-hand snap from between the legs, and at the snap, either A player is in position with a knee on the ground 7 yards or more behind the line of scrimmage, in position to be the holder and receive the long snap, with enough player 3 yards or less behind that player in position to attempt a place kick. Or in B, a player is 10 yards or more behind the line of scrimmage and in position to receive a long snap. So those are our scrimmage kick formations that we must be in for the numbering exception to apply on this play. As we come back to this play to take a second look, keep in mind we only have 4 players on the line of scrimmage numbered 50 through 79 in this formation. We are not in a scrimmage kick formation in either of the criteria. First, player 10 yards or more deep to receive the long snap. Second, a player 7 yards deep on his knee as the holder, and a second player approximately 3 yards behind them in a formation to attempt the kick. So we do not meet those criteria for scrimmage kick formation. So at the snap, this would be an illegal formation, which would be a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Now, to make this a legal formation, they would have to have 5 players numbered 50 through 79 on the line of scrimmage, or they could shift into a legal scrimmage kick formation to make this legal. So on these types of formations, be on the lookout and ensure that they meet the criteria for the numbering required based upon their formation. This concludes our week 6 educational video series for officials. Thank you again for joining us this week. Feel free to hit the like button or comment regarding certain plays that can help other officials improve our officiating skills. I'd like to thank you again for taking the time. And until next week, thank you and have a great week.